I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And I am Captain Logan because I'm into Star Trek. You may be wondering why I go by Captain Logan. It's actually because that's what I go by in my Star Trek club, which I've been doing for 7 years. I've been doing it for 8 years, but ever since high school I've been running this other club, so it's been 7 years now. We've had over 255 meetings. We've had, would you quit that? We've got a nice sized group, and we do this every week. So would you quit doing that? Anyway, today's question is Captain Logan too obsessed with Star Trek? You know, sometimes you have to step back and you have to look at yourself and see if you're maybe just a little too into stuff.
Look yourself right in the Gordy goggles and see whether or not you are too into Trek. You just said
Gordy goggles. Yeah. That'd be Geordi Visor.
Hey, I watch Trek.
Yeah, but you know enough to know that it's not that his name's not Gordy. What is he, a pig now?
Yes. Suey.
Okay, so we're actually going to debate about this. I'm going to defend my fandom right here on Geeks Not Nerds.
Defending your life.
Okay, Vince, you're going to go first, pal.
Sounds like a plan. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. Okay. First of all, I think we got to address the fact that he has a lot of Trek stuff. Now, when I say a lot of Trek stuff, what I really mean is, you know, people have like a wall of Trek stuff, or they have a wall of comic book stuff. This guy has enough stuff that he has it dispersed throughout his house. Like, that stuff, that ain't it. That's a lot, but that ain't it. There's more stuff. He's got batleths. He could injure people with his collection. That's my... See, yeah, okay. Now, moving on. He has a rigidly organized Trek club. A rigidly organized... They have things that they do throughout the meeting. Now, granted, it's a Trek club, so they have to. But, you see, this is my point right here. Boffer weapons. Now, the Trek club, he has people... It, like, sucks people in. They're like vampires. They turn people into Trek. I've gone to the club. I have a title. I'm in the club. I'm in the paperwork. I know nothing about Trek. I didn't even get to my third point.
That was good, Vince.
Yeah.
Alright. I guess I will now defend my Trek honor. Here we go.
Alrighty, you go ahead and hit the button because that's an iPhone. And I think I might break things.
This isn't harder than the last one, Vince. You just hit the... No, that's okay. You might find some way to mess it up, yeah. Okay, I, first of all, don't feel as though I am obsessed, actually. I'm involved. I'm deeply involved because... Trek for me is kind of a lifestyle choice. It's not, which is, okay, maybe a silly thing to say, but you know, it's not an obsession, it's a lifestyle, because, it's, okay, look, I'm not a creepy Trekkie, okay? There are what I like to call the wrong kind of Trekkies, okay? I'm like a normal person who's also, like, really into Star Trek. You ever seen Trekkies? The documentary Trekkies? Okay, so, I don't ride around in Christopher Pike's chair, and I don't go to jury duty wearing my uniform, and I don't drink John Delancey's water glass after he had the flu saying, I have the Q virus! Okay? I've never done that. I've broken stereotypes, Vince. I might be hugely into Star Trek, but I'm a social person. I'm married to a beautiful woman, and I'm employed. And it hasn't seemed to mess with my life. In fact, I think that it's helped me.
He has a Q costume. He has
Hold on.
costume.
Look, you can't start that until I get the
okay.
Until I get the 3 minutes up. Now hold on. Okay, go ahead.
He has a Q costume. And I'm not talking about one of these uniform-looking things that Q wore. I'm talking about the one that looks like a burgundy nun's uniform. You know, that thing. He has...
I didn't plan this. It just happened to be that there.
Now, it looks good, you know, as that costume can look good on a person. But
you should wear this.
I couldn't get into that. Literally.
Dude, it's a robe.
Yeah, I know, but I got a giant head.
Oh, okay.
So that's, yeah, he has a Q costume. Now...
That's your whole... That should have been your whole minute thing.
I think I could fill a minute by going...
So really, Vince, I mean, you think I'm too into it?
Well, you know, I mean, I suppose there has to be a reason to be. I mean, why is Trek worthwhile to be that into?
Well, first of all, of course, I mean, there's the normal stuff, like I grew up with it. Like, you know, my parents were into it, and I watched it a lot and that sort of thing. But, like, you know, I'm also into Batman and Superman and comic books, and I think you would say that I'm more into Star Trek than I even am of that stuff. And I was certainly into I was certainly into Batman even before I was into Star Trek. Trek, you know me as a writer, I've always been huge into character-driven stuff. And Star Trek is wonderfully character-driven. I've always been really into science fiction, but there's a lot of science fiction that's more plot-driven than it is character-driven. And I simply love the characters of Star Trek. I'm not the kind of person who's all, like, obsessed with starships or you know obsessed with alien races, although I do find a lot of species fascinating and stuff like that. But you know, there's a lot of social allegory and that sort of thing. And I mean, like, you know, Trekkies always point to all the same stuff, and it becomes nearly cliche when you start talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Roddenberry's big vision of a better future and all of that, and that's all well and good, but that's probably not the biggest reason I'm into. I mean, it's a good philosophy, but it's character stuff. The people that universe creates are very interesting, and I would say that I may not have been a huge Star Trek fan, even just based on the original series, had I not grown up with TNG, because I think Picard is fantastic.
Well, what isn't that guy fantastic? I mean, come on.
Patrick Stewart.
He's awesome.
Yeah. You know, it's like you know, how do you be a good leader and that sort of thing. And there's I don't know, there's a lot of good lessons, but it's also just entertaining. It's just.
Now, apparently there are at least 100 entertaining things.
Yeah, I wrote a blog a couple years back called "The 100 Best Things About Star Trek." Check it out. Did you read it?
I read
or
some.
Looked at it, but didn't really know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
With a lot of it. Yeah. You know, like I said, I've run this club for a long time, so I'm hugely into trivia, and I know as I speak episode title. That's a language, by the way. Episode title.
I know about 3. I'm proud of myself.
But anyway, you know, check that blog out. What I did was Star Wars Insider a couple years back did the 100 greatest things about Star Wars ever. And what I found odd about it was that a lot of it were things I'd never heard of, because they were what I would consider to be extra canon. Of course, we've talked about this before, but and by the way, this isn't like I hate Star Wars. I actually really like Star Wars. I'm just more into Trek because of the things I mentioned and because there's a lot more of it. But anyway, I thought there's all this stuff that wasn't ever in the films, and I can do this with Star Trek and point to only films and movies, which are canon. So I did it, and got a lot of good feedback on it, actually.
Star Wars Insider?
Mm-hmm.
That's a magazine?
Yeah.
Is it quarterly or monthly?
I'm not sure how often they put it out.
That's weird.
Why is that?
Because they haven't made a movie in how long?
Oh, yes, but there is a lot more Star Wars news, I would have to say, than there is Star Trek news, because they're constantly putting out video games and stuff like that. I mean, Star Wars, and also there's that current cartoon series. So I mean, I don't know. It's just there's.
And I think they do comic books too.
And they do a lot of comic books, yeah. And I mean, it's not that Trek doesn't have this stuff, but Trek's never had a big video game following, because let's face it, there haven't been a lot of good Star Trek video games. Mostly because they're always like shit battle-based, and Star Trek's just not really about that.
Or use the Doom engine.
Well, that was fun. No, Quake.
Oh, Quake. Sorry.
Back in the 90s, yeah.
Quake.
But once again, yeah, with Voyager. But you know,
it's fun though.
But once again, there's still a lot of Star Wars video games, because that's the universe that works better for that. Well, anyway, we're way over our 3 minutes here. But, anyway, so no, really, do you still think I'm too obsessed, man?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe one of these days you'll understand. But hey, you're still coming back to club. So that tells you something. I mean, he still comes back. But is it because I'm getting you into Trek, or is it because you just like the format, or is it because you just like watching me ramble?
It's because you guys let me make fun of it. Not that it's bad, but there are some things that
I'm gonna start docking points. No, I'm kidding. We all make fun of it. That's the thing. I mean, we know how to have a good time. You know, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, look, there are 703 episodes of Star Trek. Okay, and so, you can't make that much of something and there not be a lot of bad. There is a lot of bad Star Trek. I mean, that's absolutely.
So would you say that the wrong kind of Trekkie is the kind of Trekkie that takes himself way too seriously?
Yes, that's what I would say.
So I would say you're obsessed, but I wouldn't say you're the wrong kind of Trekkie.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Am I too obsessed based on what you've heard? Leave us a comment. Let us know. Be kind, and also leave us a comment. They don't have to rewind, Vince. We'll show it right here. I know that's what they want to see. That's homemade. I have real metal ones, but that one's homemade. Anyway, also leave us a comment if you have any cool ideas for things that we might debate in the future, especially if there's anything you think Vince is too obsessed with that we could talk about. And
surely not.
And we'll see you next time on Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.